Kenny, you told me yesterday that you've loved that improvement that you've made with your cutting principles since last time you played in Milwaukee. What specifically has that allowed you to unlock in like a new layer of the offense? Could you elaborate on that?
I think I've said this before. I've the game's changed, the game's evolved. I've seen. When I was with Mike D'Antoni, it was like if you cut, you got like fined, right? Like if you didn't just stay in space and hold, you got fined. And then I was with Rick Adelman, who was a big cutter, cutting coach and top five all time. So I just think it's an accumulation of my experiences, being with different coaches and seeing how being with Golden State also a lot of cuts. So it just kind of morphed into, let's look at this team. Let's see our how if it's going to fit our personnel. I think it has. I think we can still do it better. Like I told you, we've definitely something we've worked on during these practice days. I fight with the players sometimes on it because sometimes they think it's too. They want their like static space, like see the puzzle. Sometimes when you got a lot of people going, it makes it harder. But I also think, makes it harder for the decision maker, but it also makes it harder for the defense. So what I'm really happy about, sometimes when you cut a lot, it could turn into turnovers, because there's a lot of things going on. But we have such good decision makers. Darius, Donovan, Evan's a great decision maker. So hope I didn't go off on a tangent here, and I hope I hit what you originally asked.
You did.
Passionate about it, yeah.
Yeah, you clearly are. But when you look at where the offense is at now, like, what has it translated into that maybe wasn't there those first 10 games?
It has translated, I think, into the great thing about cutting. I think our free throw rates improved, right? I think we were like 28th or 29th a while back. So I think cuts equal more free throws. I think cuts equal, and this is my opinion, by the way, more offensive rebounding, which we've improved. We're still not where we need to be. So it's related to a lot of things. And the last thing, I think cutting opens up space for drives. I think we're second or first in drives, second or first in points per possession on drives. So, just a big believer. Like I said, I think it fits this team, especially that second unit. George, Sam's a good cutter. Who else? Karras is an excellent cutter. I think he could even be better with his change of direction and speed. So, but again, I think we can even get better at it.
Chris.
Hey Kenny, what do you think of the current state of the NBA game?
Considering I think I literally watched every league pass game last night. I love it. I'm so passionate about it. I love the games. I love watching other teams. I just say this from my perspective, and this is where I think me and BJ were just talking. I think where we're getting the players are so skilled today, and I think we confuse style of play with skill, because I think you look at us and give me an example first. Sacramento, we play differently. Like, the style of play is very different. I think Boston plays like slower than us. We play fast. It from a coaching perspective, I think the style of play is different. So I think that makes it interesting. Milwaukee definitely plays different than us, defensively especially, completely opposite, and I think offensively, too. But I think what we're having is the skill of our players are so good. I don't know how you is that a bad thing when you got Evan Mobley shooting pull-up threes and 6'10", 6'11" guys handling it. I just love it, and I think the game's evolving. I mean, you see inverted pick and rolls now. You see so many fascinating things, and maybe I'm being a coaching geek here, but man, I sit back on my couch and I really enjoy the games. So I think we're, my opinion, we're in a great place. But don't take the skill level as like, just because our players have improved skill wise. I think that should be like a super positive. Like, this is great. Great for the game. Wemby last night, like, I don't know who saw that game. I was just like, I texted Chris Paul. I was like, this is amazing. Like, it was so fun. I love where our game's at. I love watching it.
And then, is Max going to be available tonight?
I think he tweeted he was, right? So that's how that works now. So.
He beat you to it.
They tell you. Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm not going to tell you if he's coming off the bench or starting yet. Obviously, we have a little minutes. So we got to. I have to be smart. We got to build him up to normal minutes. But excited to see him back.
How long do you expect that to last? The minute restriction?
That's totally dependent on feedback, performance feedback. We'll just kind of feel that one out.
Dan.
Talked quite a bit about Sam the past couple days at practice.
Yeah.
And what he's kind of going through with the shot. How important is it when a player's going through that sort of play to just reinforce the belief that you have in them?
Yeah, those are the side conversations, and I'll just tell you, my side conversation with him, you're just a hell of a player in my mind. Like, you're not just a shooter. You're a defender, you're a decision maker, you're a closeout. We talked about it yesterday, really good at closeouts. You make the extra pass. Like, it's just great having him on the court. And the 1 for 8 threes, also, when he's shooting 8 threes, people are chasing him, and they're trying to run him off, and that opens up cutting lanes, and it opens up offensive rebounds. So he's in a great place. Shots are going to fall. Just a matter of time.
You guys, Coach, excuse me, you add Strus, but you subtract Okoro. How much does that change you guys with that lineup?
Yeah, good question. Really good question. Especially with Max being, I gotta feel that, right? Like I haven't coached him in a live game. He's got obviously experience with the group, so that's gonna be really interesting to see how that plays out. Isaac is our kind of task defender. Like, he's a guy you're like, okay, stop him. Dame's there, stop him. Even like, we can put him on guys. So, subtracting that, definitely changes it. But Max is also an excellent defender too. So it kind of moves everybody in a different position. So now you got Dean Wade. He becomes more of your bumps up to that, like, real first level stopper. But again, in Max's case, it's probably going to take some games for me to figure where he fits in all this.
Mike.
You guys went from playing 17 games in the first 28 days of the season to now it feels like you guys have played 4 games in 3 weeks now. What have been some of the challenges of just kind of keeping everyone locked in, or do you like the break in the middle of the schedule?
I like it. We needed it. I like, I like to practice. I don't know if the players want to. I think they prefer the every other day schedule, but I really like it. For us to work on things, right? So challenges, working on stuff, but also keeping our rhythm. How much you're going to scrimmage in these 4 days? How much are you going to do skill work? Finding that balance. So it's a little bit tricky figuring out what that practice schedule looks like, and also what that rest time is. It, man, you 4 days off, you give them 2 days off. When we've done that, we've definitely done that. We didn't do it in this last break, but then we shoot 15 for 51 from 3 when we did that. So it's tricky figuring out the scheduling with all that, but overall I like it. I think we needed it.
Back to Chris.
Kenny, with Max being back and Sam stylistically is similar to Max? You don't think so?
I don't. I think Sam's more straight 3-point shooter. I think Max is a cutter. Obviously bigger size. Can get downhill a little bit and finish. Just different in the sense of probably the cutting part and the movement part. I think Max can get in that paint a little bit more with the size and finish in the rim. My comp for him was a little bit Joe Harris, who was one of his mentors, or like, man, they start chasing you off those pin downs, get downhill, get to the rim, finish, pivot, cause that defense to collapse. So, but again, to be determined how he fits in this system.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, you kind of answered it right there, but do you believe that there's room within your rotation for both Sam
Yeah.
and Max?
Yes, they'll both play tonight. Like, they definitely.
Mhm.
Jeff, you were just saying how you think the game has improved. Yesterday or the day before, Magic Johnson was saying something is lost, that the players are so chummy with each other.
Yeah.
And so do you agree with that, or do you?
I've heard that. I was talking to Brad Doherty the other day about that. I don't know. Like what I see. There's a line, and when these guys cross the line, they're they enter onto the court like they're competing like crazy. Like the competition level is super high. So I don't, this old school thing like, oh man, I gotta, off the court I can't talk to him either. Like I don't kind of get that. Like sure you can be friends with people off the court. Once the competition starts, then you compete like crazy. And we do this. That's how we are with coaches. Like we're chummy. Like I'm friends with a lot of guys in the league, but as soon as we cross that we get on the court, it's all out competition, and we dislike each other, right? Like it's just how it is, and I think the players are the same way. So, obviously Magic, they had a different way. It was like, man, you're not even off the court, you talk to guys. So, it's just different. Things evolve, but I don't think that is reducing the competition level.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Last one, Serena.
Coach, what have you learned about Dean and how he best fits into your system and the next level for his growth with you?
Oh man, he's a Swiss Army. Defensively, he can guard anybody, 5-through-1. If Dane was going to play tonight, we'd probably put him on him, right? So you go one, or you want to go guard Brook Lopez, same thing. And then, offensively, you can do the same. We played that small ball lineup a lot. As you probably know, the net rating is crazy in the small sample size. It's something we got in our back pocket. But he's just a smart basketball player. It's so easy. And he doesn't need the ball, right? He's not a high usage guy. He touches it, he shoots it, or he moves it, and it's like, man, those guys are easy. He's even kind of simpler than George. George wants to do stuff with the ball. He's not that. He's like shoot it, swing it, cut. He's very kind of direct. Those guys are. He's the easiest guy to coach.